Hey, everybody, it's John, your Indian Cinemaniac, back with another 10-ish minute review. That's right, two in 1 week. I don't know what's going on. I must be filled of the Christmas spirit. Anyway, I was trying to figure out what movie I wanted to watch. And after reviewing Da Bang with Salman Khan, which I wasn't too happy about, I decided to give a shot because a lot of you recommended a better performance for Salman Khan in the film Sultan. So that's what I'm going to review today, 2016's Sultan. Now, a lot of you have said go see Animal. I haven't been able to find a theater that's playing yet. Actually, there's a couple of current movies you named that I can't find locally. Animal's interesting because I keep reading reviews about it, and some people love it, some people hate it. In fact, I just saw one article that all the violence and sexual assaults was okay, but the girl in a bikini was what's causing real problems. I don't know if that's true or not, but anyway. So I want to talk about Sultan because after Debang, I wasn't sure what this was going to be like, and I have to tell you, I love this movie. I thought out of I haven't seen Salman Khan in a lot of stuff. I've seen him in the Tiger series. I saw him in Pathan. So I haven't seen a lot of his stuff and Debang, obviously. But out of the movies I've seen, this was his best performance by far because he played, for the most part, a real person, acting wise. So I liked it. So anyway, it's 2016 Sultan, written and directed by Ali Abbas Zafar. It stars Salman Khan, Anushka Sharma, which as I'm watching the film, I'm going, how do I know her? I've seen her in a movie. I don't know which one it was. And of course, then I realized it was PK, but she had the bob cut, so she looked different. And also Pari, the horror film, which I saw. And I love her as an actress, and she was great in this too. Randeep Huda and Amit Sadhu, who I don't think I've seen in anything. I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but let me know. Now, I found out that this was originally going to be called Dungle, which is the same as the Amir Khan film, and these films came out in the same year. So that was pretty interesting. Now, I don't know who had the name first, but obviously, because they didn't use it, I assume Amir Khan did. So um, my overall thought about this movie, it reminded me a lot of Rocky with Sylvester Stallone, but it really seemed to take elements from Rocky 1, 2, and 3. It's about someone who starts off in this instance wrestling, has some success, goes to his head, has redemption, which is really what Rocky 1, 2, and 3 were. So I thought that was kind of cool. So we introduce Sultan, and in every movie, these guys are introduced in the most dramatic way. And in this one, they had a scene where it's way past his wrestling, and you find out why later on. And there's gonna be spoilers, so it's 2016. I'm sure everybody's seen this. But his introduction is he's out of shape. He's got a pot belly, and a guy wants to bring him on for like MMF. They call it pro takedown. So he comes to visit him and he goes, I can't use this guy. Look at him. He's out of shape. Well, then this tractor gets stuck in a ditch in slow motion with this music going, and Sultan pushes the tractor out of the ditch. Now you know he's got something. It was also interesting because there was a couple of music cues in this that I don't hear very often. One of them was in the introduction of Sultan. There was rap music, and then they had this kind of weird, and this was throughout the movie, like country western music. It was kind of strange, almost like I don't know. It didn't really fit the story, so it was an interesting musical choice, I guess. Um, so then you want to understand why he's not wrestling anymore, and they do a flashback, and that's when the love story starts. And that was pretty funny because she wanted nothing to do with him. She was a wrestler. And I will say this, I saw Dungle and I saw this. I think the female wrestler in Dungle, the one who played the older daughter, looked more like a real wrestler than Anushka did. I mean, she did all right, but the girl in Dungle looked like she could. take on guys for real. But Anushka was just, I didn't necessarily buy it. Now it's not integral to the plot, that part of it, but it's why Sultan starts wrestling. So they do the love story, and there's a funny scene where he's enamored with her. She slams on him with a moped, and he's totally in love, and she calls him a shit guy, and he thinks that that's a real compliment, so he keeps saying, there's one scene he's got shit guy, shit guy, shit guy. It was funny, it was cute, until he finds out what it actually means. So then he's going to wrestle to win her over. Okay. And then they do this musical number called My Baby Likes Bass. And that was a good number, good dance number. She can move, and it wasn't like totally out of left field, so I like that. And then at one point, he wanted to be welcomed, and she said, "What, do you want to be welcomed like Shah Rukh Khan?" And I'm like, "Okay, I know this guy. I know him. I know him." I just love those references that I'm starting to pick up. So then they had a third song, and what was the title? Now I wrote this down. I don't usually spend this much time on the musical numbers, but I love the title of this musical number. My heart is like a dish antenna. I'm not going to lie. After I saw the movie, I sang that song to my wife, because I'm so romantic. No, I just thought that was funny. So then they get married, and because he's this ace wrestler now, right? And the scenes are great. The wrestling scenes are great. I do have a question for you though, because I did research on this. They said he put on 18 kilograms of weight, but in the movie they say he weighs 168 pounds. Now I don't know how tall he is. I know she's actually taller than him, but I find that hard to believe that he was 168 pounds. He is big. I mean, he's a big guy. Um, I mean, he's muscular, absolutely, but I mean, he is really, really big. He looks more almost like 200 pounds. I don't know. You tell me. Is he 160? I weigh 170. I'm 5'8", and I'm dumpy. Okay. That guy's jacked. I assume he's 5'8", my height. But I think he weighs more than that. So they do the wedding scene, and then they do this like honeymoon montage. And again, the country music playing is in the background. It was really weird, but it was an adorable montage, right? So you buy them together. Their chemistry is really good. So now, and this is, and it was kind of funny. The movie was kind of funny. The courtship. He does this whole thing where he chases down kites, him and his friends. And it was kind of almost, I don't want to say goofy, but it was almost goofy. Well, then he starts wrestling for real, and she's pregnant, so she can't wrestle anymore. And this is when the movie takes this real serious turn. And it was actually, I can't say I didn't see it coming, and I'll tell you what I mean in a second. But she's pregnant, and he's at the world championship the day she's going to give birth. And so she has the baby. He wins the world championship. He comes to the hospital. The baby died. Now, I was not expecting that. Now, I was expecting something to be wrong with the baby. And the reason is they made a big point. He donates blood, and his blood type is O negative. And they make a big deal out of that. All right. So that's going to play later on in the movie. Well, it sure does, because the baby required O negative blood, and there was no one in the village who had O negative blood but Sultan, who was at the world championship. So she's blaming him. Now they're apart. Not divorced, because they don't get divorced in India. They're apart. So that scene in the hospital, I thought, was beautifully done by the both of them. The emotion of that. I mean, every parent's worst nightmare, right? So I can't even imagine that. But I thought it was played really, really well. The baby's name was Aman. So now the guy, now that's all done in a flashback, right? That's why he doesn't wrestle anymore. Now the pro takedown guy, who's a good guy, and he's only got 6 months to make this work. He recruits him, and he recruits him by talking about money. He's trying to build a blood bank, and this money is going to be able to pay for the blood bank. But he's 40 years old, and all the other fighters, and this is now cage fighting, boxing and wrestling. So he wants them to do this, and they're all 25 years old, the young guys. So they find a trainer, and I really like this trainer too because he goes, I can't do this. You're gonna die in the ring. Look at you. You're overweight. Blah blah blah. So now he goes in the ring and he takes down three guys. First he gets messed up, and then he says, I need to train for a month before I can do this. And then he comes back and he takes the three guys, but he still has to learn how to fight this way. And those scenes are great. The training scenes are great. And that's, come on, right out of Rocky. Okay. All the Rocky movies, they have a training montage. This one, but it was great. Good music, the actual training that he did. I really liked with the sledgehammers and the bricks running next to a train, and he's gassed the first time he does, it gets better and better. And the guy's just egging him on. So that was wonderful. And then all of a sudden you see him trimming down and he looks fantastic. So the first match he does with this real cocky fighter, the guy's getting the best of him in the first round, and he's about to choke him out, but then the round ends. Now in the second round, he goes back to some of his wrestling moves and does this Sultan drop, I think they called it. And the guy's out, right? But before they count it out, he rips off his glove and walks out of the cage. Great scene. And the guy's like, why is he going out of the cage? He didn't win yet. Well, the guy wasn't getting up. That's why. So it was a great scene. And then they go to a dance club because it's the younger guy's birthday, the guy who runs the thing. And now they do this love song, right? And it was interesting the way they do it. Spotlights go on Sultan, this old style Frank Sinatra microphone, and now he's singing. Well, his song goes viral. So now, and earlier in the movie, his wife called him Romeo Wrestler. So now everyone's calling him Romeo Wrestler. And then he's got to go through all these different fighters. Now, I will say, first, let me say this about the fights, okay? I thought the fights were great, and they were like real. They were really whipping each other around. You could tell. And from what I understand, some of these guys were actually, in fact, Tyrone, the first guy he fought, ended up becoming he ended up becoming a UFC fighter for real, welterweight. So these guys were serious. Now, my only complaint is, and they did it throughout the entire movie, all the fights were in slow motion. And I know why you do that for dramatic effect, but it would have been nice to see something in real time, real speed, some of the stuff they were doing. Small complaint because I thought the choreography on the fight scenes were really good. And it doesn't look like, now I could be wrong, but it doesn't look like they use a lot of doubles. He looks like he's in there getting flipped around and doing all kinds of flips and stuff. So fight scenes were good. Now, at one point, he gets his ribs broken. And that's the final fight, too. He keeps kicking him in that rib, and you see it getting all bruised up. And I don't know this because I've never had broken ribs, but that's a little hard to swallow that he's going to be able to continue fighting with broken ribs because breathing is difficult when you have broken ribs. So that's probably my only complaint about the film. And she comes back now. One other little critique, small. Her village where she was watching the fights, and then the actual stadium where the fight is. How far away is that? Because she makes a decision to go there. It's like Bewitched, or I Dream of Jeannie. I'm there. So she's there to support him, and they end up getting back together. It was a beautiful scene. And it was very satisfying. The fight scenes were excellent. He was really good. He didn't do that over the, he does do over the top stuff. He didn't in this. He did a little bit in the beginning, but I will say that I will give this 4 Ledoux. 4 Ledoux. Now I gave Dungle 5 Ledoux. I think Dungle is a better film. Okay, not because of Amir Khan. I just think it's a better film. I really enjoyed this though. I loved it way more than Da Bang. So for those of you that that recommended it, I really appreciate it because it restored my faith in Salman Khan. Okay, and her. I really enjoy her Anushka Sharma. I'd like to see her in some other stuff too. She's a very beautiful girl, obviously, but she's also a really good actress, and she looks so different in every one of her movies. I like that too. So I again, I don't know what I'm going to watch next, but I'm going to tell you because nobody mentioned it in the comment section. Have you seen Godzilla? And if you haven't, why not? It is so good. I'm telling you, consider it this Indian Cinemaniacs gift to all of you. Go see that movie. You're going to thank me. Okay. You're going to thank me in the comment section. And then you know what you're going to do? Yeah, that's right. You're going to subscribe. You're going to hit the notification button. You're going to smash that like button. That's right. You're going to smash it. And you're going to share it because that's what you do. That's what we all do. We all share. We share because we care. Sharing is caring. Anyway, so that's it. So thanks for those of you that recommended it in the comment section. I see some other recommendations too that I'm going to take a look at because you know I don't know what's going to happen with the big show. We seem to be slowing down a little with the Indian films. I think people are getting a little restless about it, which is fine. We've been doing it for over a year. I'm going to continue because there are certain actors and certain genres that I still really love in these Indian films, and I do love the back and forth with all of you. So I'm going to keep it going. And if they even want to slow down, I might get one of them on and do like a 20-ish minute review with one of them. So that's all on the table, baby. All on the table. I am not giving up. Okay. So that's it. I really appreciate you guys watching. And I love when you guys put stuff in the comment section. So thank you for that. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot, everybody.